Hello, hello. It is Tuesday, the 29th. Week 17 is upon us. I am back, much to Alex's chagrin right now. Pete will not be with us tonight. We're sorry to hear that, but he's pulled on to dad duty, so he's got to see his kids. Pete, hi. Hope everything goes well tonight. Enjoy it. Alex, thank you for hosting the show last week, last
Pete
month.
actually hosted, but we've
Oh,
co.
Pete. Well, you started it up and did everything, right?
This is true.
Okay. So thank you for starting the show. And I'll thank Pete when I talk to him for hosting. That was awesome. I watched some of it. I didn't watch all of it. I will go back and watch all of it so that I can see how much you guys made fun of me.
A lot, a lot.
The first, I mean, it started right away. The first few minutes were, oh, I have a lower third. Oh, Mark sucks. He sabotages everything.
Yep, pretty much. It was a lot of fun.
So awesome. Good way to start the show. Always lots of fun. Let's see. Last week, I mean, it was okay. I don't want to say it was terrible. It was all right for me. How about you? I mean, you finished in the green at least.
Pete and I did pretty well. Not like
Good.
amazing, but I mean,
I mean,
profit in tournaments is always a good thing.
yeah. As long as you, in my eyes, if you finish dead even, it's a win. So anything more is an even better win in my
Yeah.
eyes.
So actually, one of the lineups we made because we weren't sure if Breeze was going to play Saturday, like late Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
We made one entire lineup of just everything 4 p.m. and later except for D'Angelo Williams. So we wound up with a Breeze stack. It was D'Angelo, Breeze, Cooks, Minnesota defense. It went bonkers. It went absolutely bonkers.
That's awesome.
I think it finished. Oh, and we had Demarius in the last night, so I think we finished like just under 200 with that one.
Jesus,
On a bad week.
that's phenomenal. I think I had one stack. It was I want to say it was my Breeze stack. Yeah, where Julius Thomas was the guy that fucked me. Him and I actually had
Well,
him and Olsen, and they both kind of bent me over. But other than that, the lineup went really nicely, and the Texans D was fun.
Will Ty screwed me and Pete a lot because, well, technically it was Odell screwing us because Ty would have been a good play if Odell played.
Yeah, but you got to figure the targets are going to go somewhere,
No,
and
that's what we thought, and that's why we played him so heavily, and it just
exactly,
didn't work.
exactly. I'm there with you guys. Really quick before we get going here, to everybody who is watching. Ben, congrats on putting up 105, my man. To everybody who's watching, the link for the
Oh,
listener league
Middleton.
already in the description. If you hear Alex go crazy, it's because we all entered in some NBA lineups tonight, so he is clearly enthralled. And
Yeah, this is my first one this year, so I'm having fun.
yeah, so it's good times. We're in talks of doing something for the NBA season. Not too sure what yet, but
Yeah, it's kind of hard. That's
if you
not
guys,
easy to
the
do.
thing is, it's very hard because we like being able to give you guys good picks, and with basketball, it's very difficult without going right up until lineup lock,
Yeah, and
or
that's
right up
why
until tip off, even.
we
So
were
it's very tough.
we were talking about doing a baseball show before this season, but
Yeah,
it's just so hard to do that because you don't even know the lineups until 2 hours before. And if you're playing like a full night, you don't know what the 10 p.m. lineups are until right before the sevens start.
the baseball I feel like is a little bit easier because you get the majority of their lineups before.
Well, you know the
You know
majority
what
of
I
them
mean?
because
And
you know the
there's a lot,
starters.
yeah, and there's a lot less injury risk, especially going up until, first pitch. When it comes to basketball, it's like you get random guys sitting, you get, it's so much more difficult. But yeah, if anybody at the end of the day, if anybody has any suggestions, any requests for something in basketball, let us know. Give us some ideas. Let's see what's going on out there, what you guys think. And at the very least, strike up a conversation because I am clearly looking for help. I have no good luck in NBA this year thus far, and uh, hopefully somebody out there can help me out. Now, I see Kingdom Amir.
Oh no!
Stop it.
Damn it!
Stop it now. I see Kingdom Amir saying that he won. So let's hop into the listener league from last week. And if he is Prinz 112233, then he took down the listener league from last week with a total of 198.6, only 1.3 points higher than second place. So very nicely done. Congratulations there. Let's see. We'll look at the three people that really brought him there. Buck Allen. Good call on
Yeah,
Buck
what
Allen.
was that? I don't that game.
22.4, huh? Only 3% owned. Famous Jameis, 19.8 points, 2 passing TDs, 295 yards. That's an interesting call because honestly, I thought the Bucks were going to run all day long. So I was in the Doug Martin camp in several lineups, and I read a couple things throughout the week that said even though they were they're out of the playoffs, Lovie Smith still wanted to get Doug Martin the rushing title. So I was heavily on Doug Martin, like I said, and that blew up in my face on every single lineup that I had him on. So boo to that. David Johnson was 49% owned. D'Angelo 21% owned. That's pretty high. I mean, considering they were going against Baltimore, don't you think that's pretty high?
No, because we expected them to blow them out, and then D'Angelo was going to get the touches. That's why me and Pete played him so heavily.
I guess, yeah.
I think him and Dijon's, and to a lesser extent, but close to as much, was Forte, who didn't pan out. But those two were our two favorites.
Yeah, I was way off Forte, but I was high on David Johnson. I was high on Palmer. Basically, the entire Arizona offense.
Yeah, but you can't go wrong doing that.
As we were going back and forth. Alan Hearns, 5% owned. Very nice, 33.6 points there. So congrats to you. Kingdom Amir. Congrats to you. Hit me up on Twitter if you have Twitter, or shoot me an email or something. And if you want to come on the next show, we'll get you on the next show, and we'll go through your thought process as to why you chose some of those lower owned guys. Ben, you're absolutely right. I don't remember when I said luck, but yes, DFS is a game of skill. We've gone through this. It's a game of skill, not a game of luck.
You're drowning.
No, you are.
No, I'm not paying attention.
All right, let's see. I guess that's it for that. So, create new line.
Keep this game tied. Go to overtime.
And let's take a look at quarterbacks. So, what I still want to do, Alex, is skip over the guys that we talk about a lot, or that.
Well, I mean, we're not doing the award show now, so we don't have.
Doesn't matter. I mean, we don't really have to go deep into. Let's just say, for example, our second guy. I'll skip over the first one. Our second guy, Fitzmagic, right? He's 5,400. We talk about him almost every single week.
Why shouldn't we? He's amazing.
Good matchup at Buffalo. I mean, we don't have to go in depth on him, right? We everyone knows who he is at this point.
A stud.
Someone who I think I'd rather take a few more minutes on, but not many, because I really don't like him this year. Matt Ryan. So we know that when these two teams play each other, they're hosting the Saints on Sunday. He's at 5,500 on DraftKings, 7,600 on FanDuel. So the last time they played, he threw for 295 and 2 touchdowns. I mean, it's the Saints. They're the worst pass D in the league, pretty much in league history. What else is there really to say outside of that for Matt Ryan?
I think it's just when these two teams get together, there are fireworks, and this is going to be a fun tournament game stack to play between what Cooks and Breeze and that offense is doing, with Julio being an absolute animal with his dabbing on his touchdown. That was so vicious. After that touchdown to dab, that was just the most evil, awesome thing I've ever seen.
If he didn't, it'd be like, why didn't he?
Yeah, you're right. It was just
Not like it was just meant to be.
it was pure vicious. There's really no other word for it. But I mean,
that's really it, though, right? I mean,
yeah, it's the price that like
he's got to be.
last time he got 19.5 points. Like, this is a defense that he can beat. He wasn't great last week. He hasn't been great for a while. I benched him in week 16 championship in a 2-quarterback league. That's how much I was down on him last week, considering he was playing Carolina. But like, this is a nice upside tournament play. It's still Matt Ryan. He still has the capability of doing it. It's just this is one of those games where he might have the volume to do it. And like I said, I don't remember how many weeks ago I said this, but the more volume he gets, the more efficient he becomes for some reason. Like the less times he has to throw the ball, the more inefficient he becomes because I feel like he's just overthinking his throws.
Let's see.
Go away, Rio.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just looking at his completion percentage in like his higher volume games, and he's up there. He threw the ball. Where is this game I just saw? 50 some odd.
No, like I said, like past years, his volume was a lot higher than it's been this year, and he was better. And now with less volume, he's less efficient.
So
I'm not necessarily like completion percentage isn't just the be all end all of efficiency. It's just like
no one said it was.
Because you're looking up completion percentage. I just mean like he's been worse with less.
So I think everyone gets it. I really think he's going to be chalk this week at that price and that matchup. He's going to
say chalk.
Yes, chalk.
Did you say Matt Ryan? No, Matt Ryan is not chalk. Matt Ryan is a nice tournament play.
Anybody against New Orleans for 5,500 throwing the ball
except for Matt Ryan because he's been that bad.
He's chalky.
No, I'm not going to agree with you on that. Absolutely. I like the play. Personally, I like it. I don't think a lot of people do.
I think a lot of people are just going to play it just because of the matchup. So
agree to disagree.
That's fine. And we'll agree to disagree on this next person, too. And I really wish Pete was here so that we could hear his argument here, too. And it's Sam Bradford. So as people in the chat are talking about, and as we already know, Chip Kelly fired earlier today.
And he can't go to Maryland because we already have a coach.
Yes. Bradford coming in at 5,300 on DraftKings, 6,700 on FanDuel. So super cheap. Going into New York to play the Giants, who, favorable matchup there. But for a guy who, he just threw the ball 56 times for 380 yards. Previously against Arizona, he threw the ball 41 times for 360 yards. Yeah, I see, those were almost his 2 best games of the year. He only had 2 games better, and one was hosting New Orleans, surprise, and one was at Washington, again, surprise. So losing Chip Kelly, you're going to play the same offense more than likely, right? They're not changing their offensive scheme and everything. They're not bringing in new coaches. It's week 17, right? Losing Chip Kelly, having to go with whoever their offensive coordinator is. What makes you think? Now, I saw Chip Kelly leaving as being shitty for Sam Bradford. You and Pete both disagreed with me. So talk to me. Why is Bradford higher on your list now that Kelly's gone? And if you say Kelly's a bad coach, I'm just going to mute you because that's hashtag.
I'm not going to say that Kelly's provided this offense that has given this year, the last 2 years has been given this offense a lot, and this year has given opposing offenses a lot because of how fast it runs. And I don't really see this offense slowing down, so that still goes towards those extra plays every game. I think with Eli and Odell basically playing for Tom Coughlin's job, it would seem. He should be fired, but still, like, they're kind of trying to play for him because he is the coach that won them 2 Super Bowls, and the Giants, they're not going to just fire him to fire him. They're going to fire him with good reason, and if they give them a good reason not to fire him, he's not going to get fired. So the Giants are going to put up points. And Philly has to come back and score points too. And this whole 3 running backs thing isn't really working for Philly and rushing the ball. So you're going to have Sam Bradford throwing the ball. I'm going to say at least 40 times. I don't think that's a stretch. I think the amount of plays that they run and the fact that they could be in a high-scoring game. The last 2 weeks, Jordan Matthews and Ertz have been great, and they've been great because Bradford's back healthy and in rhythm with them. Those are 2 guys that I actually really like this week. We'll talk about Ertz in a little bit. But I think the volume plus just that extra chemistry that he's showing with them, and this is something that me and Pete, I know, agree on, is that Chip Kelly being gone, when Chip Kelly was there, he was really more auditioning to stay for Chip because Chip was the coach and the GM. Now he's auditioning to the whole league to be a starter somewhere else. He's auditioning to head coaches that might come into Philly that want to keep him. There's a whole mess of other factors that are being added up to Sam Bradford where he wants to produce to make himself look good exiting the season, because this season wasn't Sam Bradford's fault. This was more Chip Kelly's fault, in my opinion. I don't think Sam Bradford wasn't good, but he wasn't terrible. He's a starting quarterback in the league when given the opportunity. And I think this is one last week for him to show that before he goes in the offseason. Plus, the matchup is outstanding.
So I agree with most of the stuff you said, right? And now if I look at Bradford's matchup against the Giants when they hosted the Giants back in week 6, he threw for 280 yards, 1 touchdown, 3 picks. Got you 12 DraftKings points.
Well, that was the worst game ever, if you remember. That was the worst Monday night game of the season. It was an atrocious thing to watch.
No, I agree. I'm not saying, we can judge his whole season on one game, but his losing Chip doesn't make me want to play Bradford anymore, I guess is my point. I guess maybe the whole, if Peters comes in and actually plays, now that Kelly's gone, if they can get full participation out of their players and their players are kind of playing for something, showing that they're playing as a team for something other than Chip, maybe I can get behind it a little bit more. But I guess I'm not sold on, oh yeah, the Eagles are going to be, it's going to be a revelation now that they fired their head coach. They're all of a sudden going to be this prolific offense again.
It doesn't have to be a revelation.
Later,
it's these guys care more about where they're going than I think staying with Philly at this point, or they do want to stay with Philly. Everybody left now that Chip is gone because these are all Chip's guys. They want to show that they belong and they should stay, or they should get more money somewhere else. All of these guys on this team are going to want to do that. And I think you're very, 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 you're undervaluing that a lot, I think.
I get that, but that's the whole contract year, right? That's the whole point of a contract season, not a contract
this isn't
game.
A contract season. We're talking this is the last game of tape to put something good in people's minds. Because usually the last thing that people see is the most important because it's the freshest in people's minds.
It's not like that though. Like you're talking about it like this is their open audition for everybody to see what they can.
It kind of is.
They've got a whole season for that. There's a whole season worth of.
They had a whole season of Chip Kelly being a jackass.
Yeah, but that's not the point. It's not Chip Kelly's fault that Bradford overthrows receivers or that he underthrows receivers or that receivers drop passes. I mean, that's what people are going to look at. That's what GMs and everybody are going to look at. And they're going to see that, receiver X drops more passes or Riley Cooper can't bust his way out of a paper bag. Like, they're going to notice that. They're not going to look at this game and say, oh, Cooper beat, the Giants slot DB who sucks royal nuts. And okay, it's, let's sign him for that. They're going to look at the whole season worth of stuff.
All right, we're not agreeing on this, so we're going to move on.
Why?
Because we're arguing the same points over and over. I think that it matters more than you think it does, and we're not going to get anywhere with this conversation.
Wow.
I mean,
sitting at 315.
What?
Look at Pete.
No way.
Crushing it. All right. So agree to disagree on that one. I'm not. I'll just put it out there. I'm not wholly disagreeing. I'm not saying Bradford is a terrible play. I think there's better, and I think firing Chip didn't move him anywhere on my rankings for him this week. That's what I'm getting at. So let's move off to running back, and we're actually going to jump to the other side of that game, and let's take a look at
Rashad Jennings.
Rashad Jennings.
He looked good last week.
3,700 on FanDuel, 5,800 on DraftKings.
Backwards.
Nope.
You said 3,700 on FanDuel.
Nope. 3,700 on DraftKings, 5,800 on FanDuel.
There you go.
I wish I could rewind because I have no idea what I just said.
You just said that. You said FanDuel first instead of DraftKings.
All right, my bad. So he's the past couple of weeks, right? The past 3 weeks, we saw him finally taking over. I guess we'll say the majority of the rushes in that backfield, right? Finally emerging as the actual primary rusher. So he got 22 carries against Miami, 16 against Carolina, 14 against Minnesota, but against Minnesota they were down the vast majority of the game. But his price tag hasn't gone anywhere. He's still sitting at 37. And the past 3 weeks, he's got 12, 19, and 15 DraftKings points. So he's hitting value for you. Easy. Going up against Philly, who now you think they're more inspired. Does that scare you at all?
No.
Now you think he's going to maintain his value as a pass catcher? I mean, he's got 2-1, 2-1, 2-2. He doesn't seem to, for the second half of the season, he hasn't caught many balls out of the backfield. You think the majority of his value then comes from rushes, potentially getting into the end zone?
I think it's a whole combination of things. He is finally taken over the backfield, in my opinion, or at least the majority of it. He should have been doing this a long, long time ago. So luckily for us that he is just starting to get it now at this cheap of a price. It's what I was talking about earlier with when you play against Philly, you get more plays on offense, more opportunities, usually amounts to more points. And I'm expecting Philly to score the ball, so I'm expecting the Giants to score the ball. This offense will be better with Odell Beckham back. And for Rashad Jennings to get 15 points without Odell in a game where they just got their asses kicked, what did Eli complete? 13, 14 passes? It was pathetic. But Rashad Jennings was still able to get 15 points. That's great. That's outstanding for a guy on an offense that just got absolutely taken, just their lunch money taken. It was bad. It was like one of the worst games that I've ever watched. Just because Minnesota just was like, nope, you're not doing anything. You don't have Odell. We're gonna stay near the line.
I mean, Odell just opens up the offense for everybody. I mean, it's
and it also just shows how devoid the Giants are of talent. If they didn't draft Odell Beckham Jr., do you know what would be going on right now? They might be 0-6.
I was gonna say that every single week. My God.
Yeah, that would have been fun for DK purposes. You just basically play whoever's on defense.
Play the defense against.
It's like playing a defense against Zach Mettenberger. It's just
or Matt Schaub.
Well, Matt Schaub, you get a free pick 6. Zach Mettenberger, you get a free 20 points. A la the Texans, and it would have been more if he didn't get that touchdown. All
right.
So I just like it's the opportunity. I like this game.
A lot of opportunity, especially for that price.
I like this game a lot.
Yeah, clearly. I mean, even if it's, and especially if it's high scoring, just more opportunity for him to.
That's
in any which way.
Point. I don't Bradford safe, by the way. Going back to our comment, I don't think he's safe, but I think all of the things that I was saying factor into him having a very, very, very high upside day.
Okay. And I don't disagree with that. But my whole point was that he has a high upside day, but it's not because Chip Kelly was fired. Okay,
but we weren't only aboard him because Chip Kelly got fired.
No, but you were higher on him because
higher because I just think it's more of an audition than it would have been. I think that teams weren't expecting him to be as available as he's about to be. So they're going to pay a little extra attention.
Okay.
And I think he knows it.
Okay. I'll agree with you there.
When your coach gets fired, everyone's on alert. They're like, oh, shit, we're playing for our jobs.
Move on to the next running back, and that's Amir. He is at 3,700 on DraftKings, 5,300 on FanDuel. I mean, he's hit double digits once in the past like 10 weeks. So why are you?
All right, I got this. He should be the one that gets the touches. They're not making the playoffs, clearly. There's no reason to give Joik the ball. Theoretic's the only one that could, but I think that they're going to be up. I think that Amir should get, hopefully, 13 to 15 carries, 3 to 5 targets. That's good opportunity for him. Chicago can't really stop running backs. And if it's anything like the last time these two teams play, it's going to be high scoring, and there's going to be opportunities abound for both teams to score. Or at least give him opportunities to touch the ball.
I mean, you're not recommending him in cash, are you?
Oh, hell no.
Okay,
I love him.
that was one of the things you guys said last week, if I'm not mistaken, was he was one of your top cash game plays.
Oh, no, P was joking, I think.
Okay.
It was that was a dumb segment. Because he also had Cameron Artis-Payne in his top cash plays, and then I hit back with Powell. He didn't even bring up Powell. I love Powell. Powell did fine.
I liked Powell a lot. Okay, let's move on to our next running back. I've got to find him here. Wow, what the heck's going on? There he is. Freddie J. Coming in. They're going into Arizona. He's sitting at 3,500 on DraftKings. Jeez, again, 4,800 on FanDuel. Explain yourself. A running back against the Cardinals. You're just hoping for a lot of passing?
Well, all right, here's the thing with Fred. Fred hasn't been involved because Seattle's been slinging the ball over the place and just winning games. This week, being down, that meant that Christine Michael and Bryce Brown were on the field less, and Fred Jackson had 8 targets, 5 catches for 43 yards, and what did he have? 10.5 points at 3.5. That's not bad, and I'm expecting Arizona to obliterate them. So I'm expecting Fred Jackson to be on the field. A lot of second downs, all third downs. They're going to be down. Russell's going to need to check down to him, because that is one thing that Arizona lets happen. They're going to let you check down to the running back because they're not letting you go to the intermediate or deep parts of the field because that defense is too good. So they're going to let you throw that check down because they're just going to swarm it and not let you do anything with it. So I'm good with Fred Jackson getting me 7 catches for, I don't care if it's 12 yards. 7 catches is 7 catches. He's going to get the opportunity. He might get in the end zone just because I think that he gets the most snaps of any running back out of the 3. So I think it's a great high upside tournament play based on game flow. Because this is the first time that since I guess Rawls has been down that they've needed to throw the ball to the running back.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. They've been throwing their receivers, and they've had, juicy receiver matchups every single week until now, basically. And
plus, they still need to try to win.
I think you can steal some of that analysis for our next guy, Travaris Cadet, right? 3,500 on DraftKings, 5,100 on FanDuel. Not that they've had all this success passing to the receivers, but that same they're going to have to dump the ball off, high scoring, a lot of opportunity here for a pass catching back who went for 3 for 69 and a touchdown last week, 4 for 32 the week before. Seeing his role increase as the pass catcher, especially with Hightower kind of, let me bring up his stats real quick. He's staying involved in the passing game too. So, I mean, we like him too, but keeping it under that value threshold, you think he hits this week, Cadet?
I think he has a good opportunity to. I think he gets on the field a little bit more than last week. They were up, so Hightower got a lot of play. Cadet has been part of this offense before. They brought him back. So it's not like he's jumping into a new offense. He's familiar with Drew Brees. Drew Brees is familiar with him. They know how to use him. And in a game where I'm expecting, this isn't necessarily what's going to happen because I also was expecting them to be down against Jacksonville, which they weren't. But I'm expecting Atlanta to be up because they have a better running game with Devontae and the better receiver, the best receiver of both teams in Julio. He showed last week that he's he still has it, and he still has chemistry with Breeze. So I don't see why he wouldn't get at least 5 targets. And 5 targets for a running back is solid upside tournament, especially the way he scored his touchdown last week. He looked good on that touchdown.
And at that price, it's very, very nice to have that kind of
I think all right,
kind of a floor for that price.
I think that Jackson has more volume upside. I think he's going to wind up with more volume, but I think Cadet has a better chance of getting in the end zone.
Okay.
So I like both.
See that? Yeah, I could see it definitely. Okay, let's move on to our next running back then. Former Saint, current Redskin, 3,400 on DraftKings, 4,500 on FanDuel, and that's Pierre Thomas. Now, he got some good work last week, 7 for 67 in the pass game. But Matt Jones was inactive. So assume this value pick assumption is that, or recommendation I should say, is assuming Jones is inactive again.
No, it's there's no assuming needed. They're sitting everyone this week. They're resting anyone who needs rest. That means they're probably going to rest Matt Jones even if he's healthy. Alfred Morris isn't good enough to be rested, so he's probably going to play. Chris Thompson, maybe they'll rest him just because he's had injuries this year, but who knows? Cousins is definitely going to sit. Garcon, Reed, and Deshaun are probably going to sit. They might even just play him in the slot because they don't have pass catchers because they're going to sit everybody. But more importantly, he got a lot of play without Matt Jones, and I'm expecting him to get at least similar play just because other people are going to be sitting and he's going to be presented the opportunity to show that he deserves playing time in the playoffs. And he's a good player. I don't know how it took him this long to land with a team and start getting snaps, but once he got on the field and got comfortable with an offense like he has with Watt, he looked good. I thought he was the best of the 3 running backs, easily. And he might wind up being the starting running back in the playoffs because he's been that much better than everybody else.
He's always had talent. It was just kind of suppressed by, their first round pick Ingram in front of him, right? When he was with
he had great years even with Ingram.
Yeah, he had good.
He's talking about right now.
Yeah.
No, he had like legit PPR years, like real legit PPR years, like Danny Woodhead type PPR.
No,
years.
You're right. Out of the out of the chat. Sorry, these guys are cracking me up. Too Smooth wanted me to ask about DeMarco Murray. Now, before you pull the don't care line.
I don't.
4K at the Giants. Any chance with Chip gone that you have any sort of faith that he's going to get more work?
I don't. I really I'm not going to make the joke. I genuinely don't because I don't trust him this season. I don't trust him on this team. I don't think he wants to be there anymore. He wants to get the fuck out of there. They're probably going to cut him and he's going to go back to Dallas. So I don't know if they're going to give a guy that they don't expect to keep there a lot of touches this week, even though game script and the way they should run the offense benefits him. They should try to run the ball more. They have better running backs than they have receivers, so I don't know why they wouldn't get 2 of these guys on the field at once. I don't understand why that's one of the things that I really didn't understand about this offense that I thought they were going to do. I thought that they were going to have 2 of the 3 guys on the field at once a lot more. We probably have done it next to no times, but wouldn't you be scared of seeing DeMarco and Sproles on the field at the same time where you have to account for both?
They said it early, very, very early on.
Yeah, that they were going to do that.
When they brought DeMarco in, they said they were going to do that. And yeah,
and I
thought they were going to do that a lot because you have 2 pretty good weapons. But the thing is, the way that they're setting it up, though, right? DeMarco isn't a guy who you can hand the ball off like you've said about Ivory earlier in the year. You can't hand the ball off to him in shotgun and expect him to do much.
Right, and you can't do this is what they've done with DeMarco Murray. Here, DeMarco Murray, run a jet sweep and try to beat everybody else to the sideline and then start going up.
Right.
That's not what DeMarco Murray does. Run DeMarco Murray between the tackles and he'll be good. They don't run him between the tackles. If you've noticed, they run him between the tackles on the goal line he succeeds most of the time.
Right?
When they're not near the goal line, they run him a jet sweep going laterally this way, and then it's like, oh yeah, now you should turn up outside the numbers, hope make something happen, or we're gonna kick your ass. It's like you can't expect a guy like him that runs through tackles and runs with as much aggression as he does over people to want to run outside and beat people with speed. He's not just a speed back. He's a big back that can hit the holes and follow a block. Running jet sweeps doesn't require following a block. It just means get to this area as fast as you can and beat everybody else on the sideline.
Run a sprint, basically.
They basically asked him to be Tavon Austin this season.
So, yeah, just to touch it off there too smooth. We're not on him, and we didn't really bring him up because of that, right?
He could have a great game if they're smart. They give him the ball 20 to 25 times, run it up the middle because the Giants cannot play defense, especially against the run. He could go off for 200 yards and 3 touchdowns if they do it, but the chances of that happening are at about 3%.
Right. What are the odds of them like I brought up earlier? They're not going to overhaul their offense in 1 week. You know what I mean? Like, they still have the Chip Kelly personnel there, and to see Bradford all of a sudden start coming out from under center for 75, 85% of the snaps probably isn't going to happen. So
you never know, though. You could have
I said probably isn't going to happen. I mean,
there is the possibility of playing a DeMarco, Darren Sproles, Ryan Matthews stack and going bonkers this week. They're all cheap, and they all just are going to get the ball.
There's a possibility, and we'll probably have a lineup like that, I'm sure, but it may not include DeMarco Murray.
Completely joking, and just it was more of an ironic lineup that, like, if that won, I think I would just stop playing DFS for the rest of the year, because then it would really be the most bizarre year in NFL history.
Right. All right. So there's DeMarco Murray for you. That was it. That's our running backs. Let's move on to receiver. First one up, talk about him too much, so let's not touch on him for too long here. Dorial Green-Beckham, 3,800 on DraftKings, 5,700 on FanDuel, taking on Indy, who's been giving it up all season pretty much to outside receivers. I mean, he goose-egged against Houston. What we can say is Indy's defense is not Houston's. Not expecting a goose egg again, right? And at 3,800, he went for 20 or more points in 2 out of the previous 3 weeks. Anything else, Alex?
He's good. He's raw. It's week 17. They're going to try to get him the ball as much as possible. I wouldn't be surprised if a guy like Kendall Wright would sit just because he's been hurt all year. That'll give him extra targets. Mettenberger's terrible, but he doesn't have to face Houston again. He just has to face the Colts. And the Colts are probably a pretty good play this week, especially considering their price. I think they're, $2,200, $2,300? They're bare bones. And any defense against Mettenberger is pretty nice money. You're going to succeed when you play defenses against Mettenberger. But this is one of those defenses that there's a chance they might not, because they're pretty bad. And I think Mettenberger was good week 17 last year, wasn't he? For some reason, he just showed up, and that's how he kept his backup job. So I could see him doing it again.
He showed up, so they drafted a quarterback second overall.
No, he was never going to be the starter, but yeah, I mean, basically though, I don't know.
No, that's it. I mean, that's it for him. We talk about him a lot, so there's nothing new, right? Big guy, we like him. He's got the talent. It's just getting the targets and putting it all together. It's tournament play, not cash.
How did Pete put that up? I'm putting up 300, and I'm still getting my dick kicked in. Well, not really, but
yeah, I don't know. Pete is apparently real nice at basketball, so I'm going to hopefully steal some from him as the year goes on. What's weird is a lot of the people he played are highly owned. I wonder what.
Because they're all good plays. Millsap was clearly a good play. Teague, nobody really liked Teague. But
Millsap, though, whatever tournament he was in, 26.9% for Millsap. I feel like he was the gimme of the night.
Yeah, because of his price, it was ridiculous. But he started off so slow. I was so worried, and then he winds up dropping close to 60. It was great.
All right, Sorry, guys.
No, but Middleton was the play of the night. Chris Middleton knocking down trays.
He had his career high in points tonight.
Was
Ridiculous.
it career high in points? I thought it was career high in threes.
Could have been
Oh,
both.
he did have 36 points, so yeah.
Could have been both. I saw career high in points. But all right, let's get back to NFL. Next receiver, Marvin Jones, 3,700 on DraftKings, 5,700 on FanDuel. Playing Baltimore, right? We've been saying play receivers against Baltimore. That's been
here's the other caveat. It's assuming that McCarron plays because McCarron might not play now.
Why is that?
He hurt his wrist.
He hurt his wrist. Okay.
So hopefully, because him and AJ Green were making some of the most acrobatic catches I've ever seen in the first half of last night's game. That was the only fun part. Like last night in the first half, AJ McCarron looked like he could potentially be like a legit QB in the league, and then it just all fell apart. But for him to do what he did in the first half against statistically the best defense in football as far as yardage is concerned, because I still think Arizona is the best defense. But like he looked really good. Like really good. Like they had one-on-one coverage. All they had to do was beat their corners, and he fit the ball wherever it needed to go. And Marvin Jones and AJ Green made some of the most spectacular sideline catches, like just in succession. Like I've never seen two guys just catch the ball on the sideline as many times as they did and make it look so easy as often as they did last night. It was awesome. I loved watching it.
Let's see. I didn't watch the whole game. I watched some of it, and then it didn't affect me at all, so I had no real interest in it. I had no investment in the game either. I don't think I played anybody in that game, so I didn't really care. But on Jones himself, now, are you also saying, now you put the caveat in there, if McCarron plays, now let's say McCarron and Eifert play, does that change it at all as well, or are you assuming Eifert doesn't play as well?
I'm assuming Eifert doesn't play as well, but I mean, even if Eifert plays, McCarron still needs to throw the ball to Jones to be effective. I think if Eifert plays, it's limited snaps just to get him back rolling, because they're not getting their bye now because they lost, or there's still a chance? I don't even know.
There's still a chance, I believe.
But not likely because Denver's going to just...
Well, they have to win and Denver has to lose, I think, is the scenario.
Denver's not losing to San Diego.
Stranger things have happened.
Yeah, that's pretty strange.
I'm saying.
They put Weddle on IR for seeing watching his daughter in the halftime show.
Dude, yeah, they fined him, what, 10 grand for that too?
10 grand, and they put him on IR.
I mean,
I don't even know if he was hurt, but they put him on IR.
His groin, yeah, he hurt his groin, and I guess didn't play the second half of the game. But he and his agent were basically saying that he could have played. He could have come back and played, week 17. He wasn't definitely going to be out, but they were basically saying that's it.
Done. Goodbye.
Because this was his last game.
You've been so great to us for so many years. You've been a leader on our defense through good times and bad times, but you can get the fuck out of here. It's basically what they did by putting him on IR.
I mean, I get it. Like some guy I follow on Twitter was Jeff, what's his name? Feinberg, I think is his last name, from the Fantasy Sports Network. He was going off pretty much all day about how, Weddle he's being paid. He has the obligation to be in there with his team at halftime, blah, blah, blah. Like I get both sides of the story, right? As a parent, I'm like, okay, I would want to watch my kid too if they were performing at halftime of my game. But at the same time, it's your job to be in the locker room at that time. And being a defensive captain, like, I don't know.
The defensive captain for a very long time.
Yeah. So
like you cut those guys a little bit of slack sometimes.
You'd think
those are the people that you cut a little bit of slack.
Those are the guys that opinion too. I'm just saying, like, I get the whole, it's his job. He's got to be in there. But I'm glad to hear you say it, because I feel like just again, being a parent, I'm like biased and like, okay, yeah, I'd want to watch my kid.
I'm not a parent, but it's like, let him watch.
Let the man watch, right? Let him watch.
Dude, like, how many times is your daughter going to do a halftime show in an NFL stadium during an NFL game?
During your NFL game.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't even matter whose game it was. Just during an NFL game, period. Like, she's not going to do that again. Whatever. I don't care. Done. Moving on.
Anyway, back to wide receivers. Sorry, guys. Nate Washington is our next guy up. 3,600 on DraftKings, 5,300 on FanDuel. We've said.
No, I just have one thing to say, and then we can move on.
Yeah.
Cecil Shorts isn't playing.
Okay. You took the words out of my mouth.
Yep, that's it.
That was it.
Whenever one of them doesn't play, the other one does something.
Yep.
It's a nice tournament play. Hoyer should be back, most likely. Even if he's not, they're playing the Jaguars. They're going to score points.
Yep. All right. Moving on to Dontrell Inman, 3,600 on DraftKings, 6,100 on FanDuel. Wow, that seems high on FanDuel, no?
Well, he had a big game last week. He won 8 for 80 and like a touchdown. I think.
Touchdown, yeah. Okay.
I just like him for volume because they don't have anybody else to throw the ball to.
But the last time they played Denver, just a heads up, he went 1 for 15.
I don't care how many weeks ago was that.
I think he got injured 3 weeks, 4 weeks.
That was probably right when Stevie J got hurt too. So this is we're at the point where they're playing. Their receivers are Ladarius is on IR also. So it's Malcolm Floyd, Inman, Herndon, and Gates and Woodhead out of the backfield. That is all that Rivers has to throw the ball to. So from a pure volume perspective, assuming that Denver is up, they have to throw the ball. A bunch of those targets are going to Inman because Rivers isn't throwing anything less than 40 times. And a bunch of them are going towards Inman because not a lot are going to Herndon. Malcolm Floyd isn't a volume receiver. And Gates looked really slow last week.
Yuck.
And Donald Brown is terrible. He's the worst. I was so mad during that whole game because I played Woodhead in my Week 16 championship, and watching Donald Brown run into the line over and over and over again was the most frustrating. Because remember how high we were on him last year when he was playing against Jacksonville? Because he's lead points, and he was our play of the week. Play Donald Brown. Dead to me. I fucking hate him. I hate him more than I hate Colin Kaepernick. And that is saying a lot.
Yes.
But then Woodhead came through, so it was all right. I won, so I don't care. See, the thing, I was freaking out that night, though, because I had Woodhead, and the guy I'm playing, because it's 2-quarterback IDP, he had Malcolm Smith. So every time Woodhead caught the ball, Malcolm Smith got the tackle. So even though I got the full PBR point and the yardage from Woodhead, the tackle got him 2 points. So every time Woodhead caught the ball, I lost points, or I lost part of my lead. Because it was so frustrating watching that, but Woodhead eventually just came close to Malcolm Smith scoring enough to not hurt me.
Oh my god,
it was a fun week to watch, man.
This week?
Yeah, just because I won. All the people that I helped with their teams, they all won. It was a profitable weekend. We'll put it that way.
Next guy on the list is your boy, someone you were hawking over for a while now. 3K on DraftKings, 5,200 on FanDuel, assuming Des Bryant doesn't play again.
Yes. Forgot I put him in here. I'm so excited.
Bryce Butler hosting Washington on Sunday. Went 4 for 74 this past week, so decent game there. But overall hasn't done anything all season. So
he's been hurt. He kept getting hurt.
Let me just reiterate, this is assuming Dez doesn't play.
Probably, yeah, probably.
If Dez doesn't play, you gotta love him. Does he? I mean, he's got.
Why would Dez play? To be honest,
I'm just saying.
No, I'm just saying from just doesn't like I understand that he might, but like, what reason does he have to play?
Oh no, he has none. They should have. Well, my only thing is why not put him on IR?
Because he's not like IR hurt.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter at this point.
Yeah, well,
I'm going to the playoffs. Just get rid of him. You're starting Kellen Moore.
Yeah, I understand, but like putting too many people on IR kind of messes with off-season strategy because when you have to sign somebody, and if you sign somebody off the practice squad, there's rules. I think it's just a whole pain in the ass, and you kind of lose rights to some players if you sign them and then drop them. So I think it's more of a strategic thing. Even if he doesn't play, he just goes as one of the inactives, and he's just because he's clearly part of the roster. They don't have to make a move for him. Where Tony Romo, they had like 2 games left. They needed another quarterback. You have to put him on
Alright.
But no, Bryce Butler, I've talked about this. Dude is a measurables freak. Probably some of just he has shake. Like, you know how like some running backs can just like do a little quick little head fake and just juke somebody out of their pants? That's what Bryce Butler can do from the wide receiver position. And he gets deep real quick. He has a great 40 time. Big body, good hands. The only problem with him is he's already gotten hurt twice this year with the Cowboys. And he got traded from Oakland. The only reason he got traded from Oakland is because they love Andre Holmes for some reason. They love that Seth Roberts guy who, for some reason, looks okay in the red zone. And they have Amari Cooper and Crabtree. So they didn't have a need for him, where the Cowboys needed him when Des Bryant went down. And he looked good for the game and a half that he played early in the season. We saw that one like 50-yard bomb that he caught as he pulled his hamstring. So now he's back. He had, I don't remember how many targets, but 4 catches for 74 yards at 3,000 to get that kind of production. It's great. The opportunity for him to get in the end zone against the defense that's probably going to be sitting more than half of their starters is pretty high. Kellen Moore is just going to throw fuck it YOLO balls all day, and a lot of them are going to go to in his direction. He's better than Terrence Williams, so I think that he kind of this has the potential to be a breakout game for him to show that he may be the guy lining up across from Des Bryant next year.
And again, at bare minimum on DraftKings, $3K.
Yeah, you don't get this kind of upside at $3K in the middle of the season.
I mean, cash viable for you?
I don't hate it. I mean, there's no reason he gets less than. I don't see a reason he gets less than 10 points. I don't. Because
he's got to get at least 6 or 7 targets, you'd think, right?
Minimum. And at least 4 catches, at least 6. Like, I don't see him getting less than 60 yards because he's not just like a short. He's an outside receiver. He's not going to catch those short intermediate balls. He goes down the field and gets the ball. He cuts across the middle, deep and intermediate to go get the ball. He's not Cole Beasley who's going to catch the ball on the line of scrimmage and hope that he sunshines his way through a bunch of tackles.
Yeah.
Dude's a stud.
I
love Bryce Butler.
I think you might have sold me on him.
I actually have a dilemma. I don't know if I should pick him up or Kenny Bell. I'm probably thinking about Bryce Butler at this point now. But I think I have Kenny Bell longer and more secure.
Say that again. You were going in and out. I didn't hear you.
Okay,
correctly.
So I have a dynasty decision.
I heard. Yeah.
End of the roster. It's him or it's Kenny Bell coming off IR next year to probably be the number 2 across from Evans. I know that Kenny Bell is going to wind up being the number 2. I like Bryce Butler's upside more, but I don't want to give up Kenny Bell. It's tough because I know Kenny Bell is good, and he probably has similar upside to Bryce Butler. The only problem I have with picking up Bryce, I don't know if he's going to be the number 2. You never know. We'll see this week, potentially.
Yeah.
Where Kenny Bell is assuming VJax is released, he is the number 2 there next year. I like Kenny Bell, but I like Bryce Butler.
I mean, when do you have to make a decision by?
I mean, I got to figure out, because it's my league, I got to figure out how Yahoo will let us add drop in the offseason. So as soon as that opens up, I'm going to make a decision quickly because I'm going to keep Ty Montgomery.
Nice.
Well, I mean, I keep my whole team in Dynasty, so we'll see. I'm going to try to make some moves. I want to get Carlos Hyde. I need a running back. And I don't like this draft class, so I'm trying to get rid of my picks for next year.
Interesting thought there.
Have we talked about Corey Davis, by the way?
Corey Davis? No.
He was supposed to come out this year, and then NFL scouts were being a bunch of dicks and told him that he was going to be, not actually, but like in my mind, they're being a bunch of dicks. Told him he was going to 5th round pick. This guy is 6'3", 205, could probably get up to 215. I watched him in the Bahamas Bowl on Christmas Eve at noon. He's filthy. He looked like Amari Cooper, and with more speed. Less polished, not as good as a route runner, but I think a little bit more physically talented. He did what Demaryius used to do: catch the ball near the line of scrimmage, make the first guy miss, and just take off down the sidelines. For a guy that's 6'3" to do what he did is just outstanding, and he's not coming out now. So I hate this draft class. I was saving my first round pick for him.
Where's he going to school?
Western Michigan.
Western Michigan, interesting. I'm sure I've played him in DFS this year.
He's a stud.
Since I didn't watch it, I pretty much just played.
He has like 3 straight years of like 1,300 plus yards or 1,400 plus yards.
Oh wow,
It's bonkers.
Wait, doesn't he have a teammate that they both went over 1,200 yards?
I forget the guy's name, but he's like a little white dude.
Yes, yes, and they both went over. I'm pretty sure both of them went over 1,200 or 1,000 yards. It was like
8 targets, absurd. 7 catches, 183 yards, and a touchdown in the first half.
Absurd.
Yeah, and then they didn't throw the ball anymore. They just ran it.
Let's see. We're getting a question from. Let me make sure I'm giving credit. From Too Smooth again, Eddie Royal.
Gross. I'm not answering that question. I hate Eddie Royal. Tweet Pete if you want to know anything about Eddie Royal. He'll say the same thing that I just said.
So let me just throw it out there for the viewers. He's 3,300 on DraftKings. Not sure what he is on FanDuel. If Alshon's out, they're hosting Detroit. So if Alshon's out, I mean, I don't hate it, but I'm not really in love with that entire Chicago offense unless pretty much it's healthy.
Yeah, even if Alshon's out, I like Miller more than I like Eddie Royal, of all people.
Yeah.
If Marquise Lee was healthy, I'd like Marquise Lee more than him. I just don't like Eddie Royal. But you could say, because it's against Detroit and because he needs to show up at least once a season to be, oh my God, it's Eddie Royal, have fun playing him in tournaments. I'm not with you on that one.
All right, let's go to
Can you check how you're doing? Real quick, though.
One sec. I'm trying to. There's some tool that keeps putting dumb stuff in the chat, so I'm just trying to knock him out, but I don't know if I can.
You can't. Just
okay. How I'm doing? I'm at 291.
Ooh. All right, so I finished second and finished third. Pete wins.
Good for Pete. What'd you finish with?
I mean, it's not over, but I got 312.5.
Wow, nice, dude.
Yeah. Well, I had Middleton. I had Millsap.
Played Middleton, man.
Will Barton came on at the end. Canner was great.
I switched it around. If I went from Harden to Middleton, kept Cantor, but went from Jokic to
Jokic didn't do poorly. I have Jokic. He was my worst player, but he wasn't for the price.
I would have gone from him to Dwight.
You didn't want to play Dwight, though.
I probably would have won that. I had Dwight in my original lineup.
Oh, well, Barton was a boss. Middleton, Teague, Millsap. Good first foray into NBA this year.
All right, let's go to
tight
ends. Zach Ertz, 3,600 on DraftKings, 5,700 on FanDuel. Past 3 weeks, 14.
Can you get the target numbers up? Because they're genuinely bonkers.
I don't. I just have the DraftKings website.
All right, hold on. Let me see if I can get them up.
While you bring them up, he's had 14, 21, and 27 points the past 3 weeks in DraftKings. His salary jumps 500 this week, but again, only up to 3,600 on DraftKings. Genuinely not expecting. He had 17 targets last week, caught 13 of those balls.
Yeah, all right. He had 17 last week.
Yeah.
He had 17 2 weeks prior too. So 34 targets over 3 weeks for a guy that's 3,500. Can you sign me up, please?
So
I'm playing him everywhere.
And again, in a game that you expect to be high scoring against a team that can't guard the tight end, you got to be overweight on him this week, right?
Beyond overweight. I think I might be too overweight on him this week.
I think, again, I think he's going to be, I don't want to say chalk, but I think he's going to be a very popular play
Don't care.
because of the recency bias.
That's fine.
Um,
Like I said, he's going to blow up. I'd rather have him on my team than everyone having him against me.
just putting it out there because some people, not you, some people really think about game theory and about who everybody else is going to have.
What's a game theory?
So just putting it out there. He will be highly owned, especially because of last week. Now let's move on to someone who also had a good week last weekend, but I don't think will be on anybody's radar, and that's Vance McDonald of Vance Refrigeration.
Vance Refrigeration. Oh my god, love that.
3,000 on DraftKings, 4,600 on FanDuel.
You want to call him Bob Vance? Like I don't want to say Vance McDonald.
Right? I just want to call him Bob Vance. We might have to do that from now on.
I'm okay with that.
So.
Oh my god! Wait, these are the target numbers the last 3 weeks.
For
7, caught 5 for 98. Then it was 13, 8 for 78 in the score, and then last week was 17. He caught 13 for $122. That was so fun watching him.
So
just because it was just.
I mean,
oh,
he's very.
I don't know where else to go with the ball. Here, down the middle, just. It was an absolute.
Ertz is open again. I guess I'll dump it off to him.
Yeah, pretty much. Oh, Kevin Love, I hate you.
What did he do for you?
He only got 30. Yeah. He had 8 points. He was 2 of 8 in the first fucking quarter, and they didn't let him shoot the ball anymore.
I was off of them, I think, as a whole. They were playing, their 4th game in 5 nights or something like that. So
I just figured that price for Kevin Love, that's a little ridiculous. And
I played Tristan Thompson, and he kind of fucked me, but.
I mean, Barton and Jokic were good. Whatever.
295 though. I'll take 295 as my final score. I'm happy with it.
I think I finished 315.
Nice, dude. So yeah, Bob Vance. Let's just take the past 5 weeks or so, right? Let's just go from week 11. He's had 3 touchdowns total. He scored.
Well, no, go through the whole thing because he had a concussion in the middle.
Go through the whole. What are you talking about?
Go through the 5 weeks in order because the concussion happened, knocked him out of 1 game. Then the next game he played, he was just coming back, and this was the first week fully healthy. So the 2 weeks before the concussion, he had decent target, catch, yardage numbers with touchdowns, and then this week he went back to that. So I think that he is relatively safe with Blaine Gabbert, and St. Louis really doesn't cover the tight end well. And Mark Barron might be out with a concussion. He almost screwed me in my Week 16 championship also. That's the only reason I know it, because he wasn't adding points for me in Week 16. And I was like, wait, why? And I looked it up, and he had a concussion and left the game. He's the only one that really covers tight ends. Laurinaitis can't cover tight ends. You look lost. You're on mute. You're on mute.
Still?
No, you're good now. Were you talking about? Because you just were looking at the camera like.
No, I was. Turn your volume down a little bit because I hear my echo, but I was lost because you were going incredibly nuts with your with the robot, so I had to I was unplugging stuff just to see if it was me, and then came back and everything went nuts. I might be drunk right now. Let's just move on. As long as you guys heard him, then cool. We'll leave it at that. Bob Vance Refrigeration.
Yeah, I like it. So should we
no defenses. Do you want to do it? You want to do
a lineup? The only value pick at defense would be Indy, but I would highly recommend the Cardinals because it doesn't matter who they're playing; they are going to succeed.
Yeah, they're very good.
When you have a Calais Campbell who's 6 foot a million that can get to the quarterback the way he can because he just has so much leverage over everyone, you're gonna be a successful
6'8",
defense.
300, and
And
he
I know
handled
what he
Corey
is.
Linsley
He
like
look
it was me.
he genuinely looks like Shaq standing next to a bunch
Just
of Kobe.
unbelievable. He's unbelievable. It's ridiculous.
He's so big.
All right, we'll do a quick DraftKings GPP lineup.
Yeah. What
Let
do you
me
want to
share
do?
my.
I had some
What's
interesting
that?
ideas. I have some interesting ideas for this
All
week.
right. All right.
Nope, don't do that.
Give me your.
Well, let me see
I'll
the
do what I
game
want.
plan
Damn
because
it.
I want to do a game stack because I don't think we've ever done a game stack here. I think we've done like quarterback stacks that we like, but we've never done like a genuine game stack. So do you actually want to do? Do you want to do a Giants Philly game
You want to
stack?
stack your Giants? Sure.
I want to see what that would look like because I haven't done it yet. So let's do Eli over Bradford. So yep, and then play both Matthews and Ertz.
Matthews is only 4,700.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's a joke. After look at what he did the last 2 weeks. Bonkers.
Kidding me?
He's 47. He's doing what he's supposed to. He's should have been doing all along.
I was just gonna say what we thought he would do all season.
And put Rashad Jennings in. Okay, now let's see what we got. So we have a decent amount of money because we're gonna spend not too much on defense.
The Cardinals are all the way down at 3,300.
Yeah, just put them in there. Why not? If we need to go down, we can go down. But there's really nothing better lower than that. All right, let's check out running back.
Against the Seahawks this week, but we'll just put them in there for now.
I don't dislike it. But St. Louis put up like double digits against Seattle. Imagine what Arizona's going to do.
They also
have a chance at getting the first round, the first seed. The first seed, Cardinals are going for it. So,
yes,
trust in the Cardinals this week. You can rely on them this week. Like I want to play David Johnson, but like no. Let's put in D'Angelo. No, put in Gurley. Let's have some fun with this one. Let's put in Gurley. Unless you think Devontae is a better idea this week.
I mean, I like Devontae's involvement in the pass game.
All right, let's do this. Put Devontae in because we have 3 guys that I like, or 3 guys there in that price range that I like. If we need money, we can take out Devontae for Gurley or D'Angelo.
Okay. All right.
Wides.
Here's something that we obviously don't talk about because we're doing value picks in this show, right? But the top, like, out of the top 6 or 7 receivers this week, and I'm just gonna really quickly take Odell out just to show a visual. The matchups are all stupid.
Yeah, right.
And
like
Antonio,
Odell, but it didn't work.
Julio, DeAndre, Marshall. I mean, the top 5 right there. Even if you drop down to go over Allen Robinson to AJ Green, the matchups are all just stupid.
Yep.
Like,
they're so much
fun. Who do you go with?
It's gonna be a fun week. You just have to determine which teams are gonna just throw in the towel on the season and which ones aren't.
No, you're right.
And Odell is one of those people that's not throwing in the towel. I was gonna say Julio, but
now he's got the chip, so I agree with you. I mean, honestly, I still like Antonio Brown.
We can't really fit anybody with Antonio, so I'd rather play Nuke. Oh my god, play Hopkins. Are you kidding? Yeah, why did I even
we can actually throw Bryce Brown in there at flex.
Oh, true, but no, I want to play DeAndre. Wait, yeah, put Bryce Brown in anyway and take the Cardinals out. Bryce Butler. No, keep Hopkins in.
Oh, keep Hopkins in?
Mm-hmm. And put Bryce Butler in, and then we can upgrade defense. We can play whatever defense we want. We can play the Broncos, who I trust this week against San Diego.
At home.
That's a vicious lineup. That's a very, very interesting game stack. Along with the top rated running back, the top scoring running back in the league. Nuke against.
Mess with this in a few ways, though. I mean, you could.
Even we could.
I'm just
go back to the Cardinals. Here, right? Upgrade Bryce Butler,
and you can upgrade. Well, if you just go down to the Cardinals, you can upgrade to any. You can upgrade all the way up to Antonio.
Yeah. Okay, so let's play around with a little. Put Nuke back in, and take Butler out, just because. I mean, a lot of people don't believe me that Bryce Butler's good, so we'll try somebody else in here just for funsies.
Someone asked about Travis Benjamin in the chat earlier.
Is he even healthy? Like, I don't even know. Like, he hasn't shown. Look at his. He hasn't done anything lately. Yeah, like no, thank you.
I mean, he is who he is, right? Like he
just hasn't really been fully healthy. And look at what Manziel did last week. 13 of 32.
We saw a stupid streak here, right, where he was like actually being treated as a number one receiver, mostly with McCown. I think this one was Manziel, right? This one.
The first few were Manziel.
But he wasn't like running many routes. Like he was running like 40% of the snaps or something like that. So it was just being stupid. I mean, it's regression to the mean that we're seeing here and just outliers there. I mean, I don't know. I don't trust Travis Benjamin, but okay, let's go back to finding someone in this area. Could
if Indianapolis had a quarterback, time out. If Indianapolis had a quarterback right now, how tempting would Moncrief look right now?
God, dude.
Who's starting? Wait. I forget what's his name? What's this guy's name? Because Whitehurst is on IR. Hasselbeck's not playing. They're not going to put Luck in. They signed a guy off the practice squad that's going to start.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Go to
Stephen Morris.
Oh my God, that's going to be hysterical.
Wasn't he from Miami?
I have no idea who this person is.
From Miami?
They're not going to say it in the notes. Look it up later. I don't care that much.
Yeah, I mean,
somebody in the chat want to look it up for us. That would actually work. All right, get away.
Just ew.
All right, so we need to find a 4,000.
Drop back down to the flex.
See, we have all those out. We still have guys like Pierre Thomas and those kind of guys that we can plug in there too. And say, like, we don't have to spend all the money. That's another thing. You can play Deej.
Oh yeah, right. We mentioned before, like that's the easiest way to differentiate yourself.
Go with Abdullah's upside. You can double stack the Houston receivers and play Nasty Nate with DeAndre.
Could go right. A few of the guys we talked about: Nate Washington, DGB, Marvin Jones.
See, I mean, I didn't really want to talk about Steve Anderson because we've done it a whole bunch of times, but he could have a good game.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about him. I mean, I wouldn't mind throwing DGB in here.
You could throw Mr. I roasted Richard Sherman, Kenny Britt in there. Just kidding, because he's terrible, but he did roast Sherman. Him and Keenum roasted Sherman on that route this week. That was awesome.
Unbelievable.
I mean, we could go a little bonkers and put Aguilar in, but like, nah. I mean, you can. There's so many options. We don't have to fill it in for you. You guys get the idea. No, get away. Don't even hover over his name. That's gross. I love him. I loved him when he was a thing. He's not a thing.
He's not, man. As much as like, I don't know. He could be, but
no.
Like he got seven runs.
I mean, already. Honestly, like it's not the most terrible idea, but like
you got to think though, the whole Bellatrix, Miami's terrible run D. There's a chance Steven Jackson gets 12, 15 carries on Sunday. I think there's a good chance.
I mean, he might just be auditioning for touches in the playoffs, so it's not the worst idea, but it is the worst idea.
I get it.
No, we can do. Wait. We haven't done this yet. Take Devontae out and put in. I don't care. Put in either. Let's put in Gurley first. See what we can do. Let's play around with this a little.
It's only $200.
No, I know, but it still opens up options. Gross options, but there are options.
Yeah. Yeah, there's not much there.
All right, so now put D-Well in instead of Gurley because I'm sure there's going to be somebody in that range that we can use. D-Will.
46.
Oh, yeah, you can use Miller, you can use Watson, you can use I love Powell still this week. You can do this lineup twice and put Powell and put Ivory because one of them's going to have a nice day.
His salary's jumping, man.
I don't care.
About time, but
good. He's still outscoring his salary. And that was his worst week in the last 3. Because they actually showed attention, gave him attention. This one I like the most, actually. Other than maybe the Bryce Brown Broncos Hopkins.
This ain't bad.
Because you have 3 running backs that can all score 20 or more.
Just a heads up. Last time he faced Jacksonville.
And that was away.
That's just stupid.
Plus they're gonna just put on a clinic because they're going to the playoffs. Because there's no I think Indy still has to. They still have to win, right? Because if Indy wins. What?
Well, if Indy wins, they need 90 other things to happen before you
can just win and it's over. So
Houston wins and it's over. Okay.
So they're gonna go out and win, and they're gonna go out and embarrass Jacksonville. This might be the only week that I don't want to touch Bortles.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you.
But at the same time, you can kind of still play Bortles because he'll still just make up for it late. It's Bortles. He doesn't give a fuck about anything.
Yeah, but it's been I don't know. It's been a tough. They're a tough defense right now, right? I mean.
Yeah, but he's still
very, very well.
He's still not Mettenberger. He's going to be able to throw a little bit more than that. He has weapons. It's the only reason he's successful is because of weapons. I wish he was a better actual quarterback.
Bringing it all the way back to NBA. I finished 295, and that finished 10th out of 20 in my 50-50. So luckily,
all right. If you're gonna play 50-50 in NBA, you have to play the big ones.
295
averages. You can't play the small ones because you get sharp.
No, I get that, but I was just looking for one that was open, and because I joined it really late, this was all that was available. So I just popped it in real quick. But wow, dude,
okay. I mean, $5.
Four people out of 20. 4 people out of 20 had the exact same lineup.
Yeah, that makes sense. So you probably played the same person with 4 different accounts. People do that.
Yeah, but they typically have similar names, no?
You don't have to, because then it looks like they're doing exactly that. If they have different names, it doesn't look like they're doing that.
Good point. Just saying, little, kind of ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of ridiculous. All right, I think that's it for us for tonight. Super long show.
Not really. We started 20 after.
Ben, I get it. You got to get on the NBA train, my man. If you like NFL, you like NBA because.
No, that's not necessarily true. I don't love NBA.
I don't watch the sport. Oh yeah, I don't watch the sport much, but it's there. It's something to do during the week. You get mad high scores, so it's a lot of fun. There's a lot more scoring in this than I think any other sport, really. So give it a try.
It's
Try like a
entertaining
quarter
enough
arcade
to
and just
do.
have some fun.
You know, do like $3
Try
a
a
month.
quarter arcade. Yeah,
That's not fun. A quarter arcade. That's just annoying.
it's fun. If
Yeah.
you've never done it before, it's a fun way to like just get your feet wet. That's all.
It's fine.
You know?
I'll agree with that.
All right. I think that's it. Let me do one quick review.
Scan through for questions because we're not going to be on Thursday.
That's true. We're not going to be on Thursday. Just a heads up to everybody watching.
Did we forgot we're not doing the award show tonight because we forgot to announce that. We're saving it for when Pete's here, and we might just save it till like Super Bowl week because we're gonna have a lot of stuff to talk about through the playoffs that we'd rather talk about and save the award show for like a show.
So one question that I kind of saw, why are you not looking at David Johnson, an attorney? I think that's actually a really good question.
We are, but like we were just doing an example lineup. It's one lineup. Of course, we're using David Johnson this week, but we made one lineup, a fun, interesting game stack lineup. Of course, I'm gonna have a lot of exposure to him, but that was just an example lineup. It's not the only lineup we make every week.
Still looking. Yes, Ben, that was attorney lineup. We were stacking the game. We agree with the negative correlation QB RB wide receiver play, but in stacking the game, we kind of just wanted to go that way for the hell of it.
Also, Rashad Jennings could catch passes. He's the best pass catcher of all of the other, obviously Vereen, but he's the best pass catcher of the three carry sharers. I don't even know what to call them anymore. They're a hodgepodge of terrible. Dark was not good. Andre Williams is the worst running back in the history of history. With hands made of stone.
Wow, Ben was like heated. All caps, talking about playing Bradford. All right. I think that's it. I agree with you guys. I want baseball back instead of NBA, but unfortunately we still have to wait. I think that's it, man. That is it. We will be back for the playoffs, though. That's one of the best things about.
Yeah, and me and Pete talked about this. I guess Mark, you didn't finish the show. We're gonna dive. I think we're gonna do more diving into the games starting next week because there's gonna only be 4 of them next week, 4 again the next week. So we're gonna have time to really just like dive into the games and talk about the games more so than just talking about individual players. So we're gonna have a lot of fun with that starting next week.
Sounds good. I am up for that. We'll talk a bit more, kind of go a little bit more in depth if we can, and not just hit value picks. Right? We'll talk on everybody. I like it. Okay, a little bit of a different format. So let's see how it works out. Nice.
It's a smaller slate, like we were talking about earlier with the NBA. We like the smaller slates. It's easier to talk about. This is going to be a lot easier for you guys to gain information from us, just because we're not going to be glossing over things. We're going to really talk about why we like things and where game flow is going to go, or at least what we think game flow is going to go. Dive more into the over-unders, team totals, stuff like that to like help you have confidence in certain picks. Plus, small slates are fun, man. Especially for football. Like the Thanksgiving Day slate was a lot of fun.
Yes. And last year's playoffs slates were a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, we had a lot of time. I mean, I wish I got to play more, but I was on my cruise. So I missed that whole first 2 weeks of playing.
Yep.
those were the fun weeks. And then I tried to jump in after, and I just
those were the good weeks. Yes, you missed.
Those were fun weeks. Those were fun because like Boom Heron was a thing.
Boom Heron was a thing. Nobody liking Cam was a thing. That was good. All right. Well, so happy New Year to everybody. Enjoy. Hope y'all had a happy holiday season. Thank you very much for tuning in, following, clicking the thumbs up. If you like the video, click thumbs up. Give us a comment. Follow us on Twitter at MN Milano, at Alex Henowitz, at P. Karaganis, who, again, is on kid duty tonight. Congrats again to Pete. Thank you guys very much. We will catch you next week. Good luck this weekend, or not good luck, good skill this weekend. And we'll catch you next week in the playoffs. Take care, guys.
In 2016.